everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for June 17, 2020. It's about 3 p.m. Sydney time. Remember, this is never financial advice. This is just simply a video blog on how one trader sees the market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own trading and financial decisions. Now, last week the heading of Breakout Wednesday was no such thing as bad news, and then in a timely manner, some bad news came out and the market took a huge dump of 6 or 7% on the 11th of June in America, and the 12th obviously in Australia. And so I'm just going to do something a bit different today. I'm just going to go through how I deal with things when I wake up in Australia and I see that the American markets were down 6 or 7%. What do I do? How do I handle that sort of stuff? And once again, just because I do it, it doesn't mean it's right. It's just what I do. There's other people that do it differently, and there's no right or wrong. Everyone needs to figure out what makes sense to them, and then just do that. Okay, so first of all, this is going to sound crazy just to newer traders, but I do nothing for that first few hours. Usually the first half of the trading day, I'm not even looking at it. I'll go do something else, go for a run, go hang out, go to a cafe, just chill out and take my mind off the market. And because usually stocks just gap down big time and have wicks to the downside and then just start rallying the rest of the day. And that's a huge generalization because they don't always do that. And obviously, if this is a true market correction of 30% or whatever, obviously you want to get out at 10 o'clock on the first day of it, like here on the 24th of Feb, right? But you never know without a crystal ball that it's going to be the start of a 20 or 30% correction, and therefore, when I'm in the middle of a bull run like that, unless there's exceptional circumstances. Remember back on this, for those who listen, back at the start of this correction here, I did not get out on the 24th or 25th. That's a pipe dream to think I could do that. But I did get out on this maybe it was the 2nd of March, I think. I think it flicked into March from Feb. So I gave up. I did lose a fair bit there, from open paper profit positions. But I certainly wasn't in all the way down here, okay? And so you never get out at the top, and people that say they do are just completely full of it, and it's just what I've accepted. But when I'm in the middle of a bull run and I wake up and the market's down, I just go away. I just hang out for the day, come back to the market in the afternoon and see what's happening, and I can bail out. And so I'm going to run through a few stocks because obviously I've had a few losing trades over the last week. Some of the newer trades got stopped out for a loss, and some of my winning trades just got stopped out at break even or hit their trailing stop and I took a win on them and that sort of stuff. But I still have some open ones, but not as many as last week, obviously. So Fortescue is super strong, and I'm certainly have not sold a cent on that. I'm still holding a lot, and it's acting like a winner, and I'm just going to sit tight on it. So the leading stocks really didn't get hammered at all. And I find that interesting, and so I'm spending a lot of time analysing the leading stocks. Now, CM8 was this stock that I just entered before last week's talk, and it gapped down here on the 12th, and I wasn't looking at it. I was out, and then purposely turned the computers and screens off. Came back before the market closed and saw it's kind of wick down, and then closed on its high. I just stayed in, went into a trading halt this stock, and then it gapped up, and so I've trimmed half my exposure on this company, but I've still got the second lot on. And this is just an example. Maybe this thing just crashed and keep going, but when you have those huge days down, it's just my rule. I would never sell the first hour or two in the morning. I think it just tends to be the newer traders and the amateurs just getting in there and panicking and doing that. And I don't want to be a sucker and sell in with all those people. I'd prefer just to sit it out, and if that means I get hit a bit extra sometimes, so be it. But more often than not, it's by far a winning strategy. So still in CMR for half, CM8, and to say CIM is one of these companies that I just bailed out at that and took a small loss on the second half. So this is that company last week I was discussing. I bailed a bit here up at 28.40 or something. When it gapped up heaps one day, and then I bailed the rest out and took a small loss on it. And maybe that was a mistake, but that wasn't me sitting there pulling the trigger. That was just a stop I had in the market that just got hit. And so I just need to live with that. But this is why when I wake up and the market gaps up 5% some days, that I'm a net seller on those days, because that's not normal. It's when the market's just giving you easy money, like I mentioned last week, then my experience, I like to just take that when it's on the table and it's been offered to me. I'll just take it and just go on my merry way. At least on half of the lot. All right. So moving on, Min still in it. Okay. This is just a great example. That's probably the best example that I've got here. In the early morning, a gap down, wick down, and it just all the fearful traders just bailed out, panicking at the start of another 50-60% correction or whatever in this stock. And then it closes on its high or very close to it. Still in it on my second half. The first half got taken off up here somewhere. Still in on the second half. I'm just going to ride it and see what happens. So that's a good example. GSS, I got stopped out on the second half of it. I had to stop in the market. I actually got stopped out on this day, on the day on the 11th here before the big down day. But anyway, stopped out on that at break even with the second lot. I'm just going to quickly roll through it. Tesla, I'm still in it on my second lot. I've got my stop all the way down here, break even. I'm sitting tight. McDonald's stopped out for break even. Okay, and so there's heaps more. One I did take a bath on is MME. My stop was just hit here at open. So when a market crashes like that, I'm always going to take a hit on some trades. But I just think that my strategy for my stop loss placements and not looking at the market in the start of the day really does save me from panicking and doing stupid things. So anyway, that's how I deal with that. Now, what I'm actually doing at the moment is chilling out. I actually just had a few days off and went on just a bit of a holiday. But I'm going to quickly run through some stocks now. Because I'm pretty addicted and I can't have a complete holiday, right? So Kogan, I want this to consolidate more, but just because it's gone up from this level, $3 to $14, doesn't mean it can't keep going to $30. When I was talking about Afterpay, when it was down at when it was forming a base here at $43. And, I think people probably thought that was maybe a bit crazy. It had been at $8 and I'm talking about at $43. It's at $57 now. So I'm not fearful of a stock that's gone up a lot. And to me, that just means it's a winning stock and I want to be in it if it gives me opportunity. So Kogan, I'm watching base. At the moment, I might scalp it, but if it can base longer, I might swing it. MSB, I'm watching base in this really nice pattern here. And PYC, the stock I talked about last week, unaffected by that big down day, and it's just broken at all-time highs. I've got a position on that. I've added a bit more, and I'm holding that stock. Now, on the American markets, the leaders are so clear. We have Facebook base in, pretty unaffected by that down day, just bounced straight back up. People are just viewing these big leading stocks as buying opportunities whenever there's a down day. The leader of the markets most likely is probably Apple, and it's just back at all-time highs pretty much. So what correction pretty much with Apple. A new stock that I haven't talked about before is PTON, Peloton. They have home cycling devices and other things as well. And I've certainly just taking a big notice of this company. I like the base here, and I've done a lot of research on it, and I've got a position on PTON. That's really one of the only new trades that I'm in. But then some of my all-time favorites, Twilio is setting up, and Z Lab is setting up, and basing at all-time highs. And so I'm watching all those guys. Just doing a scan on the ASX market quickly. So just a quick scan the ASX. Sometimes I'll just do, just simple scan, tri-point resistance, and just on balance volume 10% above the level of 20 days ago. And I'll run that, and a lot of stocks always come up. I'll just scan through it. It gives me a really good idea of what's going on out there. And to be honest, the few stocks I found at the start, Kogan, MSB, and PYC, which I like, but it's pretty hard pickings at the moment. For me, the market needs a break, and it needs time to chill out. And I'm just it's been a pretty busy period of trading since kind of late March, and I could do with a little bit of a break myself. So I've just been hanging out, and I'm probably just going to hang out for another few days and just recuperate, and then get ready for the next swing higher. Right. So Certainly, you know, some stocks coming up here. I'm still in. Sorry, I don't know what's going on there. I'm still in this one, ZNO. It's looking strong, and it's too late to enter now, but I've got half my position on that still. And the reject shop is basing at all-time highs there, and it's a bit like Kogan. You know, I'm just, you know, people think they've gone too high, they're not going to go higher. The number of times that I've heard that argument, and then I've seen stocks go up another 100, 200%. It's nuts. And lastly, guys, my comments last week about everyone with their JobKeeper and super, I didn't mean to offend anyone there. You know, I wish everyone well with their trading, and certainly there is money to be made if you educate yourself really well and you're disciplined. And yeah, that's it. Take care, everyone. Bye.